Welcome to Brand New World, a place of discovery. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I do have my guest, the president of the Zimbabwe National Party. He's here with me today, and we are going to have a discussion over the situation that is taking place in Zimbabwe. I'm sure most of us have been watching and see the situation now. Here is the opposition party, and we are going just to take through. Thank you very much for joining me on the show. I want you just to introduce yourself, perhaps, before we start have a discussion.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. As you have mentioned, I'm the president of the National Party, the Zimbabwe National Party.
ZNP.
ZNP, yes, that's right. Well, I'm here to talk about the situation that we are faced with in Zimbabwe, which is a very, very sad situation indeed.
It is indeed, as we are watching now, the situation in Zimbabwe is really terrible. Now, as an opposition party, I think I want you to take our viewers. What is happening there? What could be the problem? Where did you guys go wrong?
Well, the Zimbabwean situation is a problematic one in the sense that we seem not to have any solution in sight. It has started a very long time ago. Let me say it started even 1980. This economic situation, it was only that we were in a frenzy after the liberation struggle. Everyone was excited. We didn't even think or bother as to find out whether the people who comprised our cabinet those days were the real or proper or suitable people. We were very ignorant and oblivious of the political situation. We were not even politically mature those days. We were just happy that we had attained our independence. But over the years, we started to see the signs of economic degradation, and the main problem, even in the whole of Africa, of political decay in various governments in Africa is mainly about, or it is caused by corrupt leaders.
So you are saying from the 1980s, as you say,
yes,
until now, the Zimbabwean people did not really get the political. Thank you. Let me repeat this question. You have mentioned from 1980 until today. It seems to suggest that the political leaders in Zimbabwe did not really get a system whereby they built from the economy which they were left by Smith from then until now. There is no any sort of system they have taken or precaution, at least to improve. That's what it means.
Yes, that's right. The biggest mistake that the Zimbabwean government, the new Zimbabwean government, made was to put in place into various government ministries people who were just from the liberation struggle. These are people, of course, who did quite well as combatants, but it did not really mean that a person who was very effective in the jungle as a guerrilla fighter to come and take up the Ministry of Finance post. What criterion did these people take to determine that so and so is suitable for this ministry? So, like I was saying, as Zimbabweans, we were so excited, we were in a frenzy to say, now we have got our independence and everything is now fine. That was the beginning of all this rot that we see, the economic decay that we see. It started from that time.
Now, the hyperinflation, it seems to suggest we are now going back to 2008.
Yes.
We saw the same thing that is happening now.
Yes.
What is your comment on that? Do you think the Zimbabwean people will come out of this?
Yes, they will come out of this, but it has to be a very robust exercise. There is nothing that is written in stone, and there's nothing that is established in stone.
Right.
Every situation can be solved.
Right.
But the only way to solve this situation as Zimbabwe is to get rid. It is to get rid of all this old residue of ministers that we have. They have been there ever since. All these signs were there for all to see, but these people were busy.
So you are saying the entire ZANU-PF and all the people who are there must be removed?
Not precisely the entire ZANU-PF, because within ZANU-PF itself, there are also people who have the mind to really sincerely move the country forward. I'm referring to these people who have been there, whom we know very well, they have achieved nothing.
Now, the Zimbabwean people are known in Africa as a fairly educated population.
Yes.
What could be the problem if you are known as, fairly educated people?
Yes.
What could be the problem here?
Right, it depends the direction in which this education is utilized.
Right.
You could be an educated person, but education does not really mean that you are going to be a fruitful person in society.
Right.
We have seen that there was a time that we have more than 20 MPs in parliament. You throw a stone, you hit a doctor. We had so many doctors in our parliament. Even now, we have very well-educated people in our government. But what has their education brought us? Now the country is at a standstill. The country has been brought down to its knees, yet we have all these educated people. What is the use of their education then? It is only about humanity. It is only, sometimes we don't even talk about education.
Yes.
Sometimes we talk about people being people who have the understanding of leading other people.
Right.
We have so many traditional leaders in our country. These traditional leaders are not even educated people, yet in their different communities, in their different places, they are doing a very good job, yet they are not even educated. So sometimes it is not merely about education, it is about having a focus. It is about having a heart for your people to say, what can I do for my people which will uplift them.
Now, there is no bread, no petrol, there is hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. Yet when you look at the construction, we do have people who are building beautiful houses. In Harare alone, there are some certain suburbs that when you go there, you'll be blown away. What could be the problem? Can we say there's no money in Zimbabwe, yet people are driving nice cars, people are building beautiful houses?
Yes, that's right. Now, that is a very good question. And it is something that surprises a lot of people.
Right.
Yes, we hear from outside that Zimbabwe is a suffering country.
Yes.
That there is nothing whatsoever in Zimbabwe. That the industry is virtually closed.
It's dead.
It's dead. There is no industry. We can't even talk of a functioning industry in Zimbabwe right now. Yet when you get into Zimbabwe, if you get into Harare, you see almost every young person is driving. Where are they getting all this money from?
That's right.
Right. We have people, Zimbabweans, of course, the educated ones, and those who were privileged enough to leave the country in the wake of a very, very serious economic downturn in the 2007. Somewhere around there, we have a lot of Zimbabweans leaving that country for greener pastures elsewhere. They have done a stunning job, these people, sending money, remittances back home, and this money is not taken into the banks.
Right.
Mind you, this money does not go to the banks. This money is sent straight to individual people. It is sent to their relatives, to their mothers, to their brothers and fathers. So we have a lot of money circulating within the streets of Zimbabwe. This is the money which is helping other people to have a seemingly comfortable life. But inwardly, if we look at the heart of the Zimbabwean economy, it is dead.
Now, we celebrated last month or so for the new dispensation.
Yes.
All people around the world were hopeful that now Zimbabwe is coming back.
Yes.
But what we see now is different. What is your take as a Zimbabwe National Party? You are an opposition party.
That's
Can
right.
you give comment on that? What is happening?
That's right. What happened after the elections? Well, let me start by saying what happened before the elections.
Yes.
People were very optimistic.
Yes.
People were in a jovial mood.
Right.
And obviously, the results were anticipated even before they were counted.
Right.
Well, we all thought that the main opposition party, which is the MDC, would take the majority in parliament. Mr. Chamisa, who is the president of the MDC, would become president. But to our greatest shock, it turned the other way around.
So you are saying the elections were rigged?
Not per se, because the opposition party, which is the MDC, were given chance after they voiced their disgruntlement about the results of the election. They were given their chance to come forward with evidence of rigging, which of course the Constitutional Court brought about a judgment which did not favor them because they did not bring evidence, tangible evidence to prove that the elections were rigged. As a result, now it resulted with Mr. Mnangagwa being inaugurated president of the Republic of Zimbabwe, which again was something positive because it brought a sense of stability that now we have a leader who is installed by the Constitutional Court, who was voted into office, and now we are going to have things forward positively.
Positively.
Yes, we were optimistic there.
There was the issue that Mugabe is the one who's causing chaos in Zimbabwe. Now, President Mugabe, he's no longer there.
Yes.
There is a new dispensation.
That's right.
Why are we seeing now what is happening in Zimbabwe, yet there's a new President, Mr. Mnangagwa?
That's right. Let us not...
Is it a sabotage or something?
Some kind of... there is no tangible evidence to that. But let me say that we might load it all upon the former President Mugabe, but remember, he was not working in a vacuum.
Yes.
He had a lot of people around him. Something which is a very sad scenario here is that he was a very old man since... well, we can say 20 years back, he was already very old man, and all the other young men around him were taking advantage of his old age. Right. Now, some of the things, bad things that were happening in Zimbabwe, we all loaded it on Mugabe, yet maybe it was not him. It was all the others who were around him who were taking advantage of his old age, putting in place draconian policies, which even the president by that time did not even know. They were put in place.
So what are you saying now, the new dispensation with the new president?
Now the new president...
Is he failing?
We haven't seen that much. We haven't seen that much that he has failed because it's just a few days he is in office. So we cannot rightly say he has failed because he had no ample time to really prove himself. But just a layman's understanding will show you that since the opposition, it holds all the areas, the urban areas, they all belong to the opposition, which is MDC, which is also likely to mean that business which operates in those areas, so they tend to favor the opposition. As a result, we can also rightly say this is a sabotage.
Okay, so you can rightly say this is a sabotage.
Yes, that's
so
right.
You believe as ZNP that somewhere, somehow, the new dispensation has been sabotaged by opposition parties.
Exactly, that's right. This is exactly, it doesn't need a person it doesn't need a person who is so educated or a person who is who looks at everything with a microscopic eye. Why is it that immediately after the elections, things just go down all of a sudden? At least we must see the trend. But here, there was no trend.
There was no trend.
The elections are over. The results are announced. The president is installed. All of a sudden, everything, boom, down. What has gone wrong? So you can see clearly that there is some kind of a sabotage.
Let me ask you one more question.
Yes.
Does it really mean in Zimbabwe?
Yes.
There are people who are individualism, who have nothing to do with the nations, the nation or the poor people, people who just think about themselves. In a situation whereby if there are people, as you say, that are causing or sabotage the new dispensation now,
yes,
it means these people, they don't have the nation at heart. Do you believe that?
Well, to be honest with you,
yes.
You might not have gone to a political school,
yes,
to a school of politics to study politics, but being a Zimbabwean, by virtue of being a Zimbabwean,
yes,
you become a politician indeed, because the situation itself, the environment itself,
yes,
makes you get so much involved in politics. Now, you can look around. You can have a group of Zimbabweans discussing the situation. They will discuss with one voice. But when they go different directions to their homes, it's now one man for himself. It's now one man for himself. People in Zimbabwe are not working as a unit. People in Zimbabwe are not working as a family of Zimbabwe, uplifting one another. It is all, there is a competitive atmosphere in Zimbabwe, that if my neighbor buys an ex-Japanese car, a good Mac, someone will work his heart out to find to it that he also buys his. So there is an element.
These leaders or
no, these are general people. These are general people. Now, when we come to leaders, leaders, they have nothing whatsoever about Zimbabwe.
People at heart.
They don't have nothing whatsoever. Number one, these are very old people. Number two, these are people who know very well that when they are out of that privileged position of being government ministers, they have a cloud over their heads. Lots and lots of crimes were committed. Corruption, name it. They are afraid that when they leave that office, someone will cry for their head. So they will do whatever they could to keep themselves in. Even the sanctions, the West would come and impose sanctions on Zimbabwe. Those sanctions, they only hit the ordinary people. The ministers, the government, the politicians, they take advantage of this. Otherwise, they actually want sanctions for them to continue stealing. Now we have a diamonds field in Zimbabwe. Diamond is being mined every single day. And where is that money going?
Who's mining the diamond?
Of course, the government has appointed some companies, selected companies to mine. But you know, in a political environment in which Zimbabwe finds itself in, those companies, how legitimate are those companies? Are they not closely linked to these politicians? Are diamonds not sieved out of that diamond field getting into individual pockets? That is the question. That is the very, very big question. And again, to make it even worse, as I foresee, there has been rumors of discovery of oil in Zimbabwe, in the eastern part of Zimbabwe, by an Australian company. These came to us as brilliant news, as very wonderful news. But such wonderful news can also turn into very bad news again, because something which is supposed to be a blessing to the nation of Zimbabwe will tend to be a curse. Because every country that is an oil-rich country has got a lot of people dying for nothing.
Finally, you are the president of the Zimbabwe National Party as an opposition. What could be the solution, according to your policy, according to your party, to really solve the problem for Zimbabwe?
That's right.
I don't know, since you say, is it a curse or something, or is it ignorant, or is it demons. What do you think should be the solution to bring this beautiful nation? Because all of us here in South Africa, of course, we are all depressed. In fact, the Southern Africa and Africa, we are depressed with what is happening in Zimbabwe. We cannot celebrate South Africa, yet the neighbor is actually in such a chaos. So if you are going to be the voice of Zimbabwe today,
yes,
with your party,
yes,
what would you think is the solution to solve this problem?
All right. First of all, I like it when you said, is it demons or something like that?
Yes.
Maybe more than demons.
Right.
Well, as a party, what I see as a solution,
right,
to the Zimbabwean crisis,
right,
not only economic crisis, political and social. There is a lot of things to be undone in Zimbabwe.
Right.
Ever since independence, there are quite a lot of things that were left undone. For example, even beyond time, the times of our first Chimurenga gurus, Mbuyanehanda, Sekuru Kaguvi, they fought injustice in Zimbabwe.
Right.
And the likes of Mbuyanehanda, for your information,
right,
she fought to dislodge the colonial regime, which was very, very insensitive to the lives of Zimbabweans. But how was she treated? She was arrested and she was murdered. She was murdered by decapitation. After she was hanged on a tree, of which the tree is right there in Harare right now, where she was hanged in 1896.
Okay, yeah.
That the year was 1896. When she was killed, she was hanged on a tree. The tree is still there, standing right now, growing strong.
Right.
After she died by hanging, she was decapitated. In other words, she had her head cut off.
Right.
Again, Sekuru Kaguvi, he had his head cut off. And their heads were taken. And right now, as I speak, they are displayed in a museum in London.
All right.
There is one thing that I want you to note here. Do you think the souls of those people, they are lying at rest? There is one government minister who is Jonathan Moy, if I remember quite well, who said, if you want to get things right in Zimbabwe,
come on, give us the solution.
If you want to get things right in Zimbabwe, the first thing that you must do is to go or fly to London and bring those cows back home.
So you think the Zimbabwean situation is a spiritual problem?
It is a spiritual problem more than it is just a physical problem.
A physical problem.
Because we have icons who died for this country. We have icons who died for this country.
Right.
And some of them had no proper burial rights. Within our second Chimurenga,
right,
we had a lot of people who died for nothing. Just being labeled traitors or liars, and they died.
Right. Now, there is no sugar.
Yes.
There is no bread.
Yes.
What are you saying to Zimbabweans if they are to vote for you now? Because I don't think people are interested in history.
Yes.
They are interested in the future.
Yes.
They want to see bread. They want to see things happen. What can you say in a cross-cut to say, if we come into power,
yes,
we're going to do this?
That's right. First of all, I want to educate the population of Zimbabwe that the only people who can bring back the lives of Zimbabweans to normality are people who have their hands clean.
Right.
People who have their hands clean. The people that we do have now, they all have to be taken out. I am so sorry to say, and also sad to say, the MDC has also been washed away by this wave of ZANU-PF euphoria of plundering national assets. During the GNU, the Government of National Unity, we saw some of the opposition members who were co-opted into that Government of National Unity still involving themselves into unceremonial business dealings. How could you be in a government less than a year, you are already having a company of trucks Where did you get that money from?
Corruption.
This is what we saw, and this is what we witnessed, and that amounted to corruption. As a result, the only solution to the problems of Zimbabwe that we have now is to wipe out all these unwanted elements, unruly elements, take them out of the picture, and you choose brand new people like myself with clean hands.
You choose the Zimbabwe National Party President, Andy, and he's here with me at the Brand New World in Johannesburg, South Africa, in our studio. We were discussing the issue of hyperinflation in Zimbabwe, a terrible situation that is happening now in 2018, soon after elections. If you want to follow him or have more discussion, please get the information that is written on the screen and have a discussion. If you want to respond, comment, whatever the case may be, please keep in touch. Thank you very much. Your host, once again, Dr. Michael Gwanda, and thank you for coming. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I hope we will continue because there's a lot.
We will continue. We will continue,
Thank
definitely.
you very much.
Thank you.